Hello everyone and welcome to League Review. It has been a while since we last streamed. I believe it's been about 2 months when I looked at it just the other day. But we are back for a little bit with the LPL starting up. They are starting up tomorrow or tonight in a few hours, and I figured we will go over a few things like the preseason for the LPL. We can even talk a little bit about the MSC Cup that or the MSC, I guess, that just went on, and we'll talk about week 1 and what we think is going to happen. At the end of the podcast tonight, we'll be talking about I've been talking to Ryan a bit, and what we plan on doing going forward. Just a quick tidbit. It's like I'm trying to look into possibly with Valorant coming to the pro scene, like maybe starting up another podcast for separate esports like that. And I've always kind of wanted to do a Smash Bros. One as well. So we'll talk about a little more detail what we're going to do, because that might not be possible if we're doing League podcasts every single day like we were before, or at least 5 days a week. So we might be bunching it into a big one, but we'll talk more in detail later. Anyway, this is the week 1 of the LPL season for the summer split, and we'll get right into it. Top Esports just won the MSC, and the LPL in general had a very good performance there in general. Like, I thought FunPlus Phoenix played amazing. JDG played pretty decent. They looked a little shaky but they are a young team. It's kind of like it was their first time experience on an international stage, kind of similar to FunPlus Phoenix in the group stage at Worlds last year, and we saw how well that worked out for them at the end. They ended up winning, so this could have actually provided a very scary realization for the rest of the world with JDG. The only issue I had was with IG. Still looks like a mess. They look like they still have potential to be really good, but they are a mess when they are not good, and and especially at the Shy, we're gonna have to see a lot of good things from them in this upcoming season, or split, I should say. Since there are no current predictions or anything like that, we're just going to jump straight into the power rankings and how I see this season initially going through power rankings and then through predictions. So first up with the power rankings, I'm sure none of you could ever guess who my number 17 team is. It would obviously be Victory 5. Victory 5 has actually changed a few players here. They now have Boy or Bew on the top side. We have Mole split in time in mid, Y4 still in the bot lane. I mean, they have they brought over a lot of LDL talent, which has me hopeful that they're not going to be a complete embarrassment this year like they were last split. And like last split, for example, they literally went, if I can pull it up, I know they won one game, so I'll just pull it up real quick. But they won one game. They didn't win a series. They went 1-32. That is Jin Air levels of bad in the LPL. Like, they went 0-16 in series, 1-32 with their only win coming against LNG, who finished the year in 16th place out of 17 teams. But a 16th place with 15 wins at least. So even the second worst team in the league was still 14 wins better than Victory 5 was, to put in perspective of just how bad they were. Just an example of a 14-win difference, Invictus Gaming technically finished on top of the LPL spring split at 28-11. You would have to go all the way down to 14th place DMO, who 14 out of 17, not great, finished 6-10 on the year with a 14-21 record. That's how big of a gap there was just between LNG and Victory 5. So it was as much of a gap between 17th and 16th as there was between 1st and 14th place. They were that far down. So with that, I'm going to put them in last, but there is a little bit of hope here on this team. And the reason why they got last instead of this next team is just literally because they performed so poorly last year. It was an embarrassment to watch them play. So luckily, outside of that, we have the next team at number 16 that is a lot less, I'm a lot less hopeful about. It's my boys DMO. Oh man, Dominius Esports. They were my team back when Sino Dragon first started. You guys know this if you listened to for a while. I loved them when Sino Dragon came in. and came in and won against EDG in the playoffs. Spring Split, it was great. That was now over a year. That was about a year ago. Ryan came in, stepped in, and said, "Hey man, if NA has taught me anything, it's that spring doesn't matter." Exactly. Spring Split doesn't matter, guys. It's a little bit technically true, sadly, this time. Not at the time it was said, but because of COVID, it kind of hurt. but yes, Dominious Gaming I have as my 16th team. They still have Natural on the team. They have Twilla in the mid lane, which I'm okay with. A lot of people, they lost G in the, or GA. I'm terrible at pronunciation, as you know. I'm so sorry. But I like Twilla. I've always liked Twilla. I thought he's had a great Zoe. We have Zhao Ping in the jungle, who's looked very mediocre since his initial jump on the scene where he was super dominant. Then the biggest issue that I have here is their bot lane is now Helper and Mitsuki. This gets rid of Gala and Mark, who I always thought were the backbone of Dominious Gaming, especially Gala. And then just like, I always thought Gala was like so good in the bot lane. Him and Mark just worked so well together. I thought they pulled out a lot of wins that DMO should not have gotten, and now losing both of them has me just so depressed. Helper has played in 2015, according to Hyzerx, but unfortunately, I haven't. And Mitsuki has. They've been with them forever. Or he's been with Sino Dragon and DMO for his whole career, but he's only played one game because I'm really worried about them losing this consistency. I think it's really going to turn them into quite an awful team, if I'm being honest. Like CLG levels of awful. Ryan, does it only make sense that Twilla is good on Zoe? Zoe's the aspect of Twilight. Terrible joke. Number 15, also. So, to be fair, Victory 5, I have to just for duty, like, for the sake that they went 1-32 last split, they have to be on the bottom. They have higher potential than the previous team, DMO, and they also have higher potential than LNG, who I have as number 15 on my rankings. This being said is that Flandre was supposed to definitely be off this team, but that trade kind of fell through. Like, there was supposed to be a trade in action. I remember that people rumored that he was going to go to RNG, and I think there's a few other teams rumored to get him, and that trade completely fell through. So Flandre's awkwardly back on the team. Think about this as like, imagine TSM. We'll talk about this in much more detail on Sunday. I believe it was Sunday that we were going to do that. But when we talk about NA and stuff. But imagine if Dardoch came back to TSM and was like, yeah, you're back to being the starter jungler. Sorry about that. That's kind of what it is with Flandre, except Flandre is the star player on LNG. So we're really unsure, personally, for me, if he's going to even put any effort, if they're even going to play him. Like, I don't know. Maybe he'll put some effort in so he can get a trade deal or a free agent signing. But it might just be he's waiting for free agency. He knows he's going to be picked up by a team in free agency. Like, I'm phoning it in. I do not care about the LNG franchise anymore. So they could lose their best player like that. XX has not been good since he came back. Or since, I believe XX was on top, right? If I remember correctly, but he has not been good since he's been on LNG. It's been really, really, really weird. Flandre did want to stay? I thought he wanted out. That's on me then. I had heard that he wanted out and LNG wanted him out as well. It was like both of them wanted him out. But if he wanted to stay, maybe there's a chance. But it's still awkward. We gotta admit, LNG does not want you on the team. Sorry, no one wanted to pick you up. Guess you're gonna have to stay here now. And if you hear cars or fans in my background, we haven't had air conditioning for like a week, but we get it tomorrow, so I actually even turned off the personal fan here, so it's going to be a little hot during this podcast because it's just blowing right into the microphone. But yeah, Maple, I'm kind of giving up on him, guys. I know I love my former Flash Wolves, as you know, like to a very weird degree that I just absolutely love you if you're a former Flash Wolf. But starting to give up on Maple a bit here. He's been pretty bottom tier for 2 splits now. He came in hot, I thought, on Sunning for like a split or even a half split, and then since then it's just been all downhill. It's been terrible. And then they have Light in the bot lane and Duan as a support. It's still not much. Like, let's be honest here. It's not much. That is true. Ryan said he also could be misremembering if Flandre wanted to be there. Now it's all just rumor and hearsay anyway. Exactly. Either way, it's gonna be awkward at the end of the day. Number 14. This is where I want to start believing in some teams. Like the bottom 3, I have no faith. Like I give these teams less than a 1% chance to make playoffs. Okay, and that's even my boys at DMO. Like I give them literally less than a 1% chance to make playoffs, and all 3 of them. These teams have a smaller chance. And we're going to be talking about the pieces, right? Ryan always makes fun of me for this one. But we're talking about Rogue Warriors here at number 14. Did not really change anything, really. They have Holder and Crazy in their top lane still. Haro is still their jungler. They still got Ruby switching off in the mid lane. Zwuji, their best player on the ADC, and Leia's the support. The pieces are kind of there. There are moments of brilliance with this team due to them being so freaking aggressive. They are like IG, but just worse. And I know IG doesn't look very good right now, but like, imagine if you haven't watched any LPL and this is your first split, imagine what IG would look like if they didn't have top tier talent all the time. So, like, sometimes, like, the Shy shines, Rookie shines, and stuff like that. Imagine if they don't have that. But they still play the same super aggressive way where they fall flat on their face a lot. That's kind of Rogue Warriors. Zwuji is almost in a situation where, like... I mean, Holder's not bad. Haru's not bad. They're not, like, terrible garbage players. They're just average to below average players with a high... at least Holder with a high ceiling. Haru's been around for a while. And Zwuji has a very high ceiling. It almost reminds me a bit of Teddy on Jin Air, where it's like you got the ADC trying to hold the team down, and that's never a good thing for the ADC. An ADC cannot hold the team down by himself. If we've seen anything, if you watch anything on Reddit or just anything in general, played League of Legends in general, if you're the ADC and the rest of your team has fed and the enemy team is really fed, there's nothing you can do for the most part. You're just going to instantly die. And that's why I find Teddy so impressive especially when he was on Genera, and even definitely times on T1 as well. The fact that he's like one of the only players I know that's able to like single-handedly carry from such a huge deficit on the rest of the team around him. Yeah, Rogue Warriors 14th. I'm hope for the best. They got the pieces there. They need more. They got like half the box for if they're building a statue for the championship or like a staircase to get to the championship. They got half of them, or even 30%, you could say. But there's a solid structure there that can hopefully hold it together. Number 13. Oof. I have this team. I hate this team. You know I hate this team if you've listened. Sunning Game. I've wanted to love this team since they were a super team 2 years ago, back when they signed Maple and everyone in Sword Art, and it was like, oh great, this is going to be a great team. Like, this is going to be a super team. It didn't work out at all, and they kind of blew up, and ever since then, they've kind of been the same, where you don't know what team you are going to get whatsoever, like, at all. You have Angel in the mid lane, you have Bin in the top lane, now playing full-time. He was with Bew before. SOFM is the jungler who has just fallen off a cliff compared to where he used to be. Like, he used to be one of the best junglers in the league. I believe that was when he was on Snake, if I remember correctly. But man, View, they have View coming up from the LDL, which is nice, but I want to see SOFM get back to its roots and get a little bit better, maybe. And then you have Sword Art, and you're going to try and carry through Sword Art on the bot lane. Now, unlike an ADC, a support can definitely carry. Can carry the lane, and can roam and carry your other lanes. Look at Crisp on Fumbles Phoenix. It's kind of like a little bit in that sense, because you have Doinby as well. And Fumbles Phoenix is just kind of everyone. But Crisp definitely carries LWX is what I was trying to say there in the bot lane. And I think Sword Art is a fantastic support. I've always loved Sword Art, one of my favorite players of all time. And Sword Art, I think, can hopefully carry this team a little bit better than what their standards are going to be. But I have them 13. I can't trust this team for the... I would never trust my life on this team. And I hate predicting them week in and week out because they sometimes randomly take games that they're not supposed to. And then they drop games that they are definitely not supposed to. They didn't drop any to Victory 5 last year, but they dropped them to like DMO and stuff like that, which was just not good. Number 12. I have this team a little bit lower than most power rankings I've noticed, but hear me out here, okay? I have E-Star. I know. Before, if Idol was here, he'd be flaming me already. I have E-Star as the number 12 team in the LPL solely because I do not think people, or analysts, I should say, not people in general, are taking Cryan leaving as seriously as they should. I'm like in shock that people like this one in particular has him ranked 7th or E-Star ranked 7th, and I don't agree. I think I still wink. Great performance here with E-Star, Zhao Bei and Wave. Great. You're counting on Xiaoxi, who was, let's face it, pretty mediocre on Flash Wolves. Like, not the best on Flash Wolves. He came up and had a fantastic split last year. Best split of his life. You have to count on him doing that again, as well as losing Cryan, your best player, in my opinion. Cryan was by far the player that made E-Star what it was. He was probably one of the best teamfighting mids I've seen, and that's coming in from watching the LPL in general. Like, he had fantastic teamfighting abilities. And you're losing him for Fen, who, from what I saw from Fen for a while, for the 2-3 splits I've been watching LPL, okay, he's below average. Let's just say that. I think he's average to below average here. And I think his peak is about average from what I've seen. I could be wrong, obviously. But that's a big hit for me. That's a very, very big hit for this team. You not only do you have to have a player perform at his best level again, but you have to do it while he's missing the best player on the team that can help support. That might help support him playing at his best level, you know? Like, having a great team fighting mid really helps the support. If you're playing, like, Leona and stuff like Xiaoxi was going for, you go in, you stun. If the mid laner's there and on time and just instant kill someone without you dying, all of a sudden it's a 5v4 like that. Like, as someone who plays a lot of Leona, trust me, I love a good assassin or just any type of burst mage in the mid lane that if I can lock someone down for 2 seconds, you can kill them, and the fight's already a 4v5 before anyone even blinked. That's perfect. And that's kind of what Cryan was. They don't got it anymore. So I have him in 12th here. We'll see. But hey, maybe I'm just an E-Star hater like I've always been, apparently. Number 11. This is... Okay, so what I like to think about is the bottom 3, 0% chance to make playoffs. Like, bottom 3 are trash tier. 9 through... I want to say 9 through 14 are teams with possibility to make playoffs. But for the most part, we'll even cut it less. We'll cut it into 3s. 15 through 17, just don't even worry about it. Like, if you're a fan of those teams, just enjoy what you get. You're probably not going to get a playoff match. Just look to see what your prospects can do. 12 through 14, you got the prospects there now. Well, 2 of you have the prospects there, Rogue Warriors and E-Star, and you're hoping to develop them a little more. It might suck for E-Star because they had such a high at the beginning of Spring Split, but I think there's going to be a big comeback to reality there. And Rogue Warriors have always been towards the bottom, so they're kind of used to, with these new guys, I should say, but they should be used to these prospects, just learning a little bit more, and then kind of hoping to pick up a good free agent or two, one or two at most, in to build around Ziwuji, and then all of a sudden you have a playoff team here. 9 through 11 are the teams that are very questionable, could be bombs, could be playoff teams. So we'll start with number 11, Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming I have here is at number 11 because I'm excited for iBoy and Maestro or Hong to like the come back in the mid our bot lane. They really had a lot of synergy towards the end of the split, and just iBoy in general is very, very good ADC. Also, sorry if I'm drinking a water bottle instead of my cup because I spilt my cup the other day. Like this was like a week and a half ago, all down the back of my desk, and I can't really move my camera, but that was very dangerous as there's the plug in the electrical cord, like the extender basically. So I was like, I like risked. It was almost like a $3,000 glass of water with the switch. My switch is down there, my computer, all my monitors. Which, by the way, I have a brand new monitor in the middle here, and two. I have it set up so I have 3 monitors now, so it's really nice. But I had just had like everything down there, and it was just it was a full cup of water, just completely spilled. So I'm only allowing myself bottled water now at my desk because I scared the shit out of myself. I thought I completely fried my computer and my switch and my brand new monitor that I had literally bought like 5 days before this occurred, and my 2 old monitors as well. Yes. Anyway, Vici Gaming. I'm really excited for iBoy. I'm not as excited necessarily for Lian. I don't think it's a massive upgrade by any means, but he does have former synergy with Forge, both being on IG's academy team back in the day, and both actually playing a little bit in the LPL when Rookie had this family emergency last split. And then eventually, was that last split or was that 2 splits ago? But Forge played for a little bit is all that you need to know, and Leon was there as well. And they do have some inner synergy already built in, so that could be really good to have your jungle and mid have. That's the best synergy in my opinion to have with each other outside of bot and support. So I really think that could keep Vici Gaming. That's the upside of Vici Gaming to make them a playoff team. However, if Lian kind of shows the mediocreness that he showed on IG in general, and Forge doesn't really keep improving, and it's really just iBoy down in the bot lane and Hong or Maestro as the support, and they're really the only 2 doing anything, then you're going to see this team. They finished 9th last year, finish around 11th, like between, and they're still good enough to be like middle of the pack. They're not like the teams below them outside of like maybe E-Star or Rogue Warriors might have high potential. They're not like the bottom 3 for sure, but they're not anything that will blow you away per se. Number 10, very similar situation. This is one of the most disappointing teams of all of 2020 for Spring Split for me, outside of probably Team Liquid. Billy is back though with a new logo. It's a little bolder, you know. They're going a little bolder with the logo, which is pretty nice. And but they have Kingen and ADD in the top lane. There were some rumors that there was some internal drama between Fofo and Meteor, and that's not good. Remember what I was just saying about Vici Gaming? Between the most important relationship on the Rift is between your jungler and your mid laner, because they kind of need to work together to help gank the other lane, like gank mid a little bit, but then come help gank the other and pressure other lanes. Yeah, that's not gonna happen if Fofo and Meteor are very upset with each other. So we do have what I like to call best 16. He's 1-3 EST 16. It's best 16. Coming in as a backup jungler. So if Meteor continues to struggle, because Meteor struggled a lot, let's be honest. Meteor had a very bad split this year, and unfortunately, I think maybe it was because with Fofo he had issues as well. That's the internal stuff that we don't get to see. But you have my worrisome part isn't necessarily Meteor and Fofo. I'm hoping after some time off they can fix that internal drama. You're not playing. There's no pressure. You really, as a team, you got to work on the internal drama. I kind of know. As a Team Liquid fan, there's a lot of internal drama there as well. We'll talk about that. But if Kingen can get back into form, they're top 5 team like top six, probably top six for sure. If King and Fofo get back in form, Meteor gets back into form to be one of the top 3 junglers in the LPL and top 5 maybe in the world at what he was with Billy the other 2 splits ago. But the biggest issue is Wings in the bot lane now and Jinzhao as the support instead of your ADC. That scares me the most because we've seen ADC switch to support in NA, and it doesn't work out too great for 95% of the split. Little moments, but outside of that, not great. Excuse me. And number 9, the team that I don't think will make these. I guess you could say these are my playoff predictions as well for early split, but this is a team that just misses it barely. It would be OMG. I'm a pretty big fan of. I love Icon. SMLZ I think is good. And then you have Curse and Hacker and Cold, who used to be called 5. But they were better than we thought they were going to be in spring. I think we kind of had them around 11th, 12th, and they ended up finishing, I believe, 10th, if I recall. Let's see real quick. Oh, no, 12th. Oh, so they were dead on what we thought. But they were really close, as in 9th through 13th was tied last split. Just for an example. Like, literally, 13th place was 1 game away from 7th place. So there was a clump, an NA-sized clump in the LPL there, where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams fighting for 2 spots, or 1 game apart from making the playoffs. But with OMG, I think that we still have the old logo because the new logo, I still haven't found a white version of it, so I can't really get it on because it just basically disappears on this background. But I think they have... having Icon is such a big deal for them. I think they have a lot of pieces to be in contention for the playoffs. I just think in the LPL, it's kind of hard to make the playoffs. There's a lot of at least very good teams, and there's 3 for sure world beaters and 4 to 5 teams that could make a run at Worlds, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's a tough region. I have high hopes for OMG. I think they'll be looking pretty good. I think they can build on last split and maybe slip in. There are a few teams that have big question marks that could actually fall out of this top 8. And the first one is definitely the biggest question mark of the entire preseason here. With RNG, I slipped them in the 8th. Uzi has officially retired. It hurts. Like, it's quite a shame because I was talking to Ryan about it, and I was like, the LPL is finally, like, by far the best region in the world. And, oh, my pillow's backwards. But the LPL is finally the best region in the world. And the team that we always, or the player, I should say, we always associated with the LPL before was Uzi, obviously. He was the best player in the LPL by a large margin. And he always looked amazing. He never could get that title. He did win MSI, finally, and then unfortunately fell short, got upset to G2 in one of the biggest upsets of all time at Worlds 2 years ago. And that was like, you kind of had a feeling. That was when RNG was going for the sweep. They had 1 LPL spring, they had 1 MSI, they had 1 LPL summer, and then they were going to go, hopefully, they were assuming to win LPL or the World Finals and make the complete sweep. It did not happen. They lost in the semifinals, or was that quarterfinals? That was quarterfinals, yeah, because that was semifinals where it's G2 versus IG, and IG smashed the shit out of G2. That wasn't G2 of today, though. I don't think IG could beat G2 right now. But now, without Uzi, we have to have a brand new team. You have Betty at your ADC, which I like. I think that was one of the main reasons they brought in Betty. It wasn't like Wink or any of the previous backup ADCs that they had play for half a spring split usually before. Betty was like a well-known name ADC that easily could have a spot on almost any LPL team coming over from Flash Wolves. So I had a kind of a scary feeling when I saw Betty go to RNG. I was like, I did brush the beard, Brock. The unfortunate thing is, it's way too long. I'll talk about that in Discord after this. The beard I brushed it, but it's such a mess. I've been trying to grow it out all quarantine. I've literally only left my house one time in the last 75 days or so. I've realized since like March 29th was when I had to start working from home. Maybe March 22nd, something like that. I've only left the house one time to get pizza. I was forced to go, basically, to get pizza. But yeah. RNG with Betty and Ming, solid duo. They have Cryan from E-Star, which is the thing that some people might not have RNG. I could have them actually higher on this list depending on how Cryan performs. It depends if they play Cryan a lot or if they play Xiaohu and try and still work their old way with just through Betty instead of Uzi. I personally think that they should be playing Cryan, use XLB, and I honestly don't know who their top laner is on RNG now because is this 705? Why are all the Chinese top laners named like just numbers, by the way? 369, 705. Come on now. Pick a name. But yeah, you have 705 playing now, so you're going to have a young top. XLB is still a young jungler. Play through the young side of the lane with Cryan as well. If you play Cryan in mid lane, we're going to have a young team on RNG. Pretty exciting not being with Uzi anymore. Not that that's exciting, but it's kind of sad that Uzi's gone, but at the same time, it's new to see what will be what's the next chapter for RNG, you know what I mean? And then hopefully Betty and Ming, who I would consider the veterans of the team. Betty obviously only 1 year or one split in the LPL, but he's been around forever on Flash Wolves. And Ming, who's been on RNG forever as well. Yeah, we got. I hope that the bot lane brings the veteran attitude and performance for the team, while you have a bunch of new stars hopefully performing well on the top side of the map. If they don't perform well and start crashing and burning, then we got problems here. And that is one of the teams that OMG, Billy, or Vici Gaming could easily leapfrog over and take their spot, and they would miss playoffs. Number 7. I have LGD, number 7. This is the team to talk about in the summer split coming up. Brand new roster, revamped everything pretty much, and except for 2 players. And you're going to be looking at it as a team that came in 15th place last split, so they're the last, and have always been a joke for a long time, for the last few splits. And it kind of scares me because it's a super team, and if we remember Sunning from just 3 splits ago, Sunning did not perform well after being a super team. Misfits in EU did not perform well after being a super team. 100 Thieves in NA, not a good super team at the time. Super teams tend to collapse quite a bit, and that's kind of has me worried about LGD, so I'm only ranking them number 7. Like, this could be a very good team, much higher than 7th. We're talking 4th, like, is where I would say their peak level is. They have Longux in the top lane, Peanut in the jungle, who was always in the jungle last split. You now have GA and Yuki in the mid lane. Yuki was not so good. Was very hot and cold last split, but GA is a little more consistent. You have Kramer in the bot lane, is always the best player on the team, in my opinion. And now my favorite addition, Mark is now the support from DMO. I'm very glad to see him paired with, not that Gala was bad or anything, but paired with Kramer, who's even a better ADC than Gala. And not only that, you have GA, who you've played with, who was on DMO last split, so you have that synergy with your mid laner and your support already. Now you have a better jungler in Peanut instead of Zhao Peng, which hurts me to say after I thought Zhao Peng was amazing for a split and Peanut was washed up. But Peanut has actually performed pretty well last split, so maybe there's some signs of hope with Peanut. And you have a better top lane as well. So he's better. He's in a better spot than he was in DMO. And I'm hoping that he can show his ability to carry like he did in DMO on a much better team. However, with all those changing pieces, requiring a lot of new synergies as a team as a whole, and we could be seeing a collapse like we have with Sunning before and a lot of other super teams where they don't even make playoffs. So I'd say their ceiling is 4th in the LPL, but their floor is probably like 14th, 15th. 14th. I'd say this is their floor. I don't think they're going to be as bad as LNG, DMO, or Victory 5 at all. Number 6 is Team WE. I want to put Team WE pretty higher, but there's still a few question marks I have with them. They played amazing last split. This team is like almost. They are your budget FPX team, is what I want to call them. Basically, they play the same way through mid and support and jungle all roaming together and just creating a lot of chaos on the map. And then you have Morgan in the top lane, kind of locking it down as best he can. And then you have Jumeng as the ADC. I think Tichama has been one of the greatest additions. They had Plex to start the year, and once they added Tichama as their mid laner, he's the one that kind of really changed the whole dynamic of the team. He has a very interesting champion pool, a lot different than most mid laners, very similar to Doinby, and that's kind of why it works. Missing also roams quite a bit, and that's also why it works as well. Like he's kind of like a worse version of Crisp, and Beishong as well. I mean, they're almost like a mini FPX in my mind. Like they play really well, they execute team fights very well. They play very simple champions, roam, get kills, take towers, pressure your opponent, like. Just very basic things in League of Legends that you can do. Like they don't do anything super complex, super mechanical, like out of the world. They're very simple. They're very straightforward in what the way they're gonna play. And that style has worked. Obviously, Fumbles Phoenix won the World Championship last year. That style works. So seeing how well Tichama kind of brought that style over with after removing Plex from the mid lane starting position, like they got really well. The only team they lost to, they were on a big hot streak at the end of spring. Let me see. Yeah, they were on it says 2-game winning streak, but for the most part, Team WE was near the very bottom with Victory 5. I think at one point I actually had Team WE at number 17 in my power rankings, below Victory 5. Like I think they had won like 6 or 7 of their last 10 games, and not only that, but they won in the playoffs as well. Not only did they win, the only team they lost to was against Top Esports, who we've seen is a very damn good team. Number 5, I have EDG. EDG could easily be number 4 on this list. Number 4 is because I'm a biased piece of shit. No, I have to have faith. They've dropped me like so many times in a row now, but I feel like they gotta get it together at some point. You know exactly who number 4 is already. But EDG at number 5, Audi is their new main top laner now with Jinu retiring. And if you didn't watch the LPL playoffs, you should have definitely watched EDG of Audi. The guy saved EDG from the brink of defeat quite a few times with his Ornn play. It was fantastic. Scout in the mid lane, always a solid mid laner, always top tier. And then Hope and Mako in the bot lane again. Just all around very solid team. Definitely a Worlds contender with 4 teams going to Worlds this split. Absolutely a Worlds contender. I think that we have... That was actually what I should say is... These 4 teams, RNG, LGD, Team WE, and EDG, are the teams looking for that 4th spot. Like the teams that are just there that could make a Worlds appearance. Not necessarily like make a good we're not talking World Champions or anything like that, but they could definitely make a good Worlds appearance and beat quite a few of the Western teams. I in my opinion, that will be there. Number 4, we have IG. This team is terrible. which sounds insane to say, but like the only defense I give to IG is they finished first in spring split in the regular season, 14-2, 28-11 in games, very good. And then they played really hard opponents, and the Shy kind of entered his ass off. Like, for real. Yeah, perfect example, Ryan. With IG being as shaky as they have been, the Dark Horses just need to perform a little more and take their spot. Exactly. They need to perform a little more, and IG needs to get their ass in gear. Like, what the hell have they been doing? My only defense of them has been in the playoffs, they faced really good teams. And I will come out and say it right now, the next 3 teams, which you already know which the 3 teams are my top 3 teams in the world. Not just LPL, in the world. There's not, the only team that even comes close to them is G2, in my opinion. Like, that's the only team at the moment that I can see taking a best of 5 against any of these other 3 teams in the world. and maybe T1, but we're going to talk about that later. But for the most part, it's G2 versus these three, and that's it. So IG looked bad, but it was against three teams, like Top Esports, Fun Plus Phoenix, and then at the MSC, let's see, MSC, they looked bad against JDG. They went 0-3. They went bad against JDG. Gen.G, who had a phenomenal, to be fair, Gen.G overperformed quite a bit in their what do you want to call it? Best of ones, round robin, double round robin, or just one round robin. And Dragon X, who I think is also a very good team and a dark horse in Korea. So the only team that I'm really disappointed that they lost to is Gen.G, and that was when they were on the top of their game for the most part that day. So outside of that, I would say all their losses were to almost nearly top 5 teams in the world. So it's not like they're losing to bad teams. It's just that they're losing embarrassingly bad to really good teams. Like, they're getting their ass kicked to these really, really good teams here. And I need to see IG or the Shy step it up a lot. You do have Ning as the full-time jungler now instead of switching roles with Lian and Ning. And Ning does, to be fair, I have a lot of issues with Ning. Always have. But Ning works a lot better with the Shy than Lian does. Ning goes to the Shy and helps him out of those scenarios that he gets himself into that put him in 0-7. Ning goes right in there with him. He doesn't care. Ning's going to go all the way under that tower as well. And that worked. That's how IG won a championship. like through the Shy, Ning, Rookie, Jackie Love. The team was fantastic. Baoan. But yeah, so I'm hoping Ning getting full time back kind of gets the Shy out of this enting phase and more into the dominating phase, or at least giving him the help he needs to be dominant again. Because someone plays top lane. Top lane, it only matters whoever's jungler comes there first. That's what happens. The lane is won or lost by which jungler gets there first. Pretty much how it goes. Puff and Southwind, give them another split. I think they're a consistent bot lane. They're totally fine in the bot lane. I don't have any issues with them. Rookie stepped up pretty well. I think IG should be fine. They have the players to be fine, to be top 4, to be top 4 in the world even. They have the players for it. But this team can be 4th. This team can be 10th. This team could be 1st. They're such a coin flippy team. Like, I know I called Billy and Vici Gaming probably the 2 biggest coin flippers. No, IG is actually the biggest coin flip. Those are the 2 most middle ground coin flippers. Number 3 on the list would then finally be Fun Plus Phoenix. Fun Plus Phoenix had a very strong MSC Cup. I think that Fun Plus Phoenix as a team is just disgustingly good. Who knew? Who knew the world champions could be so good at the game? And without changing any roles out, really. They have improved a lot since Spring Split. It looked like at MSC, they learned how to play with Khan on the team, where before they did not look like they knew how to play with Khan on the team at all. And that's pretty much why they had to use Gimgoo most of the split, because everything else was falling apart. Tien has had a few games where he turns his brain off, and it's kind of worried. That's my biggest worry right now, is why is Tien not amazing every game? But when he is on, he's still on. Doinb is still fantastic, in my opinion. And LWX, for as much shit as he gets from FPX players in general, I would say more so from his own team than anyone else, he's pretty good at ADC. He's pretty good. You spoon feed him. Crisp, Tien, and Doinb give him all the resources he needs. And he's okay with that, you know. He performed. It's not like he can't. He can get all the resources he needs. He still has to hit. He still has to right click people. He's an ADC. He still has to right click on people and get in position properly in team fights. And he doesn't do that all the time, but he does right click a lot and get a lot. He gets a lot of kills thanks to his team setting him up. I think Fun Plus Phoenix is fine. Like I said, not only are they 3rd in the LPL, I consider them the 3rd best team in the world right now. This team is totally fine. The LPL is stacked for on the top side of it, at least. Number 2 is JDG, the Spring Split champions. I felt guilty. I really actually wanted to put FunPlus Phoenix ahead of them, but I felt too guilty about that because they did win Spring Split and they kind of crushed FunPlus Phoenix in the process. They lost to FunPlus Phoenix at MSC though, however, and that's why I kind of wanted to change it. But I felt like Spring Split should matter more to my power rankings than a random tournament that was actually quite competitive because it was worth actually a lot of money. But I felt like Spring Split should have counted more, per se. Because I don't want to take what... Kanavi had some inconsistencies at the MSC Cup, and I think that's, mostly because new team. I mean, they're all new to the international stage as an international tournament between Korea and China. And I think that Kanavi played a lot better in the LPL and definitely deserved the LPL MVP like he did. And then you had Zoom, who was just so good. I think me and Ryan talked about this. Zoom and Lamau, such good just rocks on JDG. Like, JDG is the best team I've ever seen, and I shouldn't say I've ever seen, but I've seen in a very long time when playing from a deficit. They just don't give up much. They'll be like, they do the like give up a little bit but hold. Give up a little bit more, hold again. Like, and then the holds get shorter and shorter, and the time goes like longer and longer. And all of a sudden, in that team fight, all of a sudden, boom, they've won that team fight. The game is completely flipped around on the enemy, and now all of a sudden, JDG is winning. This happened a lot in the LPL playoffs. This also happened a lot in the MSC, and this is mostly because Lamau. If you watch his set game, I don't remember what game it was, but he played set support. That is probably the best set support I have seen in my life. The amount of perfect team fights he set up from a deficit was unbelievable. I don't even think they won this game, to be honest. I think they actually lost this game, but it was a fantastic amount of perfectly setting up team fights, dragging people, ulting people, flashing and ulting people over a wall. Like, pulling all of the carries right in. I think he pulled Doinby, who was on Karma. So it must have been against FunPlus Phoenix. So I think he pulled like Karma. He flashed over the wall, grabbed Karma, threw him over. Like, it was so good. Like, he was always in position, always doing the right thing and keeping JDG in it. Same with Zoom. Zoom is such a rock. I believe if you watch the LPL top like 10 plays, or not the LPL, but just top 10 plays of MSC, like there was one play where Zoom was on Mordekaiser, and just disgusting, just so good. Like, literally a lost team fight instantly turns around because he's basically 1v4ing people. He takes someone with the ult, kills them, and kills them in the ult, and then all of a sudden just starts killing the rest of the team because he's fed Mordekaiser and he's Zoom. He's a very consistent laner like that. And finally, mine, and that's not, by the way, that's not to say Kanavi and Yagao and Loken are bad. They're also very, very good. That's why second best in LPL, second best in the world. Kind of happens. The only team better than them, Top Esports. My favorite team in all of League of Legends right now. Ignore the Team Liquid hat. I don't care. I literally looked online. I was trying to look for some Top Esports merchandise. Not only do they have 369, good rookie. Least favorite player on, or one of my least favorite players on team. As in, I love this entire team, but I love 369, but you have Karsa, former Flash Wolf. You get me with the Flash Wolves. Easy. Former Flash Wolves, soft spot in my heart. Love Karsa. Knight, probably my favorite mid laner to watch. Not only is he he's the best mid laner in the world. I don't care what anyone says. I said it all split last year. I think I said it for 2 splits last year. But Knight is unbelievable. He's a joy to watch. And seeing him perform on the international stage as well as he did, that LeBlanc play, oh my god, if you have not seen the LeBlanc play from MSI, just look up Knight LeBlanc MSC, not MSI, MSC, and it just blew me away with how clean it was. He's by far the best mid laner in the world, and he showed it. He beat Faker, he beat all the other amazing mid laners there, BDD, and stuff like that. Oh, so good. Knight is unbelievably good. I cannot wait to see him on the world stage. I will cry if Top does not make the world stage this split. Like, I might actually cry tears of sadness. Jackie Love, my favorite ADC. You guys know I put him as #1 player in the world last year. He did not show up at Worlds, to be fair. He didn't show up. But getting to Worlds, he was absolutely the #1 player in the world. And outside of Knight, who wasn't there. But yeah, Jackie Love is so good. He's the best ADC in the world. And just seeing him on a team with Knight, having Knight, I believe I mentioned to Ryan before, it was LS that had actually said on a previous cast for Korea towards the beginning of Spring Split that no team has ever had what DRX has, having the best mid laner and ADC possibly in the world on the same team. And that was with Chovy and I'm deft. I completely blanked. But I would argue that is true, but it's not that team. It's not DRX. It is Jackie Love and Knight on the same team, and we saw that MSC. Top Esports looked so disgusting, so good in general. Like, it was unbelievable. And, like, we're not even talking about, like, their best player, which was, I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry. Their support, Uninja? Unij? I don't know. I'm terrible at pronunciation. I apologize. But he performed out of his mind. He's a rookie. He's a fresh rookie, and he performed so much better than he had all split before. Like, oh my god. Like, he performed so well. It was his Thresh was like the best game of Thresh I've ever seen in my life. Like, no questions. Oh man. I mean, Top Esports they have top two. I think only Zoom is a better top laner than 369 right now. Karsa, probably second, third best jungler. So you have that. Knight, best player in the world, not even best mid laner. Jackie Love, probably number 2 player in the world, not even best ADC. So you have like number 1, number 2 players in the world on the same team. That's why you're so good. This team is gonna cause havoc. This team, I'm gonna call it like I did with FPX. Top Esports winning worlds this year. Called FPX after like 3 weeks into summer split. Yeah, I'm calling top before the summer split even starts. I'm cursing them right away. Top Esports are absolutely winning worlds. If they showed the level that they did right now, no one's touching them. I'm gonna even say the same. They're gonna go undefeated at worlds, just like I said. FunPlus Phoenix would. Oh man. But with that out of the way, let's get to our predictions. that was the. Or let's go back to power rankings real quick. This is the final list. Top Esports number 1, JDG number 2, FunPlus Phoenix 3, IG 4, EDG 5, 6 is Team WE. So these 3 are like world beaters, like best 3 teams in the world. IG, EDG, WE, LGD, and RNG is a group of 5 that I would say playoff/worlds contenders. Where then OMG, BLG, Vici Gaming, and eStar and Sunning and Royal Youth, or not Royal Youth, Rogue Warriors are like the teams that are trying to just fight for a playoff spot in the LPL, I would say, and just trying to work on things on their team, where LNG, DMO, and V35 are dumpster level teams. And I mean like very bad dumpster. All right, predictions. Predictions for week 1 of the LPL Summer Split. That starts in 6 hours. Like we don't have much time actually until this season starts. But we have EDG versus Team WE first, and I love Team WE. I think. Wait. Yeah, I was like, I love EDG with Scout, and I have them at number 5, and I have WE, I believe, at 7th. But there's something about Team WE that has me really excited. I really want to see Teachama. I really want to see them with a full split of experience on the team, with Teachama, and like just they were so well. They performed so well at the end of the split with that they came in hot. They did good things, and they kind of dominated. Like, they only got stopped by Top Esports, for God's sakes. Like, Top Esports is a hell of a team to get stopped by. Like, if it wasn't for Top there, we could have easily seen. I think we could have easily seen a team like Team WE beat the level of IG that we saw in the play. Even like FPX in the LPL playoffs. FPX didn't look that great in the LPL playoffs. They stepped it up at MSC, but like Team WE could have gave FPX a run for the money. So I do, even though they're lower in the rankings, I think they could beat EDG to start this split. Then we got a terrible game. We have 2 of these back to back. We have Sunning versus LNG. I don't want to pick it. I hate picking them. Give me Sunning. I just think LNG is going to be a complete mess at the beginning. Sunning can completely lose to a complete mess. That's what they do. That's what they're known for since I've been watching the LPL. But I'm just picking them. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just picking Sunning, and I'm moving on. This team, I can't stand them. They're so difficult to pick. Victory 5 and DMO. I know I put DMO as the 16th worst team in the league, so that means I shouldn't be picking this team to win many games. Picking them on the first game already. Biased piece of shit. No, they're facing Victory 5. I really think Victory 5 does have some upside, but that upside means in the future, not game 1. You know what I mean? So I think that DMO and LNG could beat Victory 5 week 1. Maybe a few weeks down the line, they might be struggling a little bit more. But I'm really hoping DMO. I'm worried without Gala and Mark. But don't give me a loss to Victory 5. Don't even lose a game to Victory 5, please. Like, Victory 5 is really bad. All right, game number 3. RNG versus OMG. This one is tough. Like, this one's really tough. I'm actually going to go with OMG to start because I think even though I have RNG slightly above them, I think that RNG is going to take a little bit of time to adapt to a new style like we were talking about with the young top side and then the Betty and the ADC instead of Uzi. They're going to have to completely revamp their team. I think they have really high potential, which is why I put them at 8th. Like, I know that doesn't sound great, but in the LPL, there's 17 teams. 8th is in the top half, but OMG was 9th, so it's a very close game either way, and I'm going to go OMG here at the beginning. I think if RNG succeeds, it'll be later on in the split, once they get their feet wet and their new style tuned a little bit better. Sunning versus Team WE. Give me Team WE all the way, but in my heart, I know Sunning's going to ruin me. They're going to lose to LNG and come back in 2-0 Team WE. I don't want to talk. Can we, like, skip the predictions for every Sunning game? Can I just not have that? I'd be, like, such a higher percentage. Oh, I forgot to talk about that. We'll talk about that. This prediction, my percentage from last split and everything. But, yeah, in the final game, Billy versus Vici Gaming. This is the most important game to watch for me. I think RNG is going to need some time still. I need to see right out the gate between Vici Gaming and Billy which one of them are really going to step it up, because I don't see these teams. These teams don't need necessarily the work at their stuff. They had it last split. Most of this team have come back and, like, you know, normal. Like, it should be better than what we saw in spring split. They have the components that they had last split, and they're pretty much all the same. There's a few changes here and there. But I think that I'm going to pick Billy. I have more faith that Billy will turn it around than Vici Gaming. I'm really hoping the internal stuff got fixed, because if that got fixed, Fofo and Meteor are really, really, really good players that can really turn your season and your team around. But if they're not working on the same level, you're just a complete mess. And Ryan said, no, Will, if I have to suffer through Sunning, so do you. Damn it. But what I wanted to mention at the beginning of the podcast that I didn't briefly was last split in total in the LPL, we went 91-45 for a 67% pick rate. We're hoping for 70% this split. That was actually the worst I've ever done in the LPL. And that was mostly because I had the very first week back from break from COVID. It was a mess. It was like so many random upsets like crazy, and that was actually my worst week I've ever had. And I attribute that week to dropping me under 70%. I think I went like 8-11 or 9-11 or something like that. It was rough. So you think red side 100% on day 1 and blue side 100% on day 2? Yeah, I think sides do matter. They do, but they're not until we know the teams a little bit better. And like, oh, this team really sucks on red side, or oh, this team really sucks on blue side. We got to just kind of go off of team value in the beginning. Yeah, but we went 91-45 in the LPL, 292-146, which is a 66.66% pick rate over all leagues that we predicted last split, including playoffs. And that brings us to the total, since we've been doing predictions for 3 years now, when we only were doing NA, but we are now at 1,468 wins and 755 losses, which is a 66.04%. Can never get away from that damn 66%. My goal is 70%. It's always 70%. If I can pick 7 out of 10 games, I'm looking pretty good. Yeah, exactly. Ryan said, oh, this team really sucks on blue side. Oh, this team really sucks on red side. Oh, Victory 5. It's just Victory 5 sucks. That's in general. Yeah.
Yeah, Victory 5 just in general is garbage. As one of the only wins you're getting, DMO. Even if you look super clean against Victory 5, it doesn't really count unless you're facing LNG next week. Not LGD. I'm so used to LGD being the meme team. Who is DMO facing next week? Easter. No, don't say that, William. Don't get my hopes. And then they face LGD and OMG. But yeah, we'll find out really soon if Dominius is better than I thought, because they're playing a lot of teams that I had that could potentially make the playoffs. Hey, DMO makes a run for the top. I'm with them all the way. But they're playing their first 5 games. Let's go over 5 games here. Is Victory 5 should be a win, hopefully. E-Star, possible. LGD, probably not. OMG, probably not. JDG, definitely not. Sunning, yeah, they can win. That's 6 games, but that's the first 4 weeks of the season. But yeah, I think that will be the podcast. That will be it for the LPL section. Just a brief section at the end was that I want to say that me and Ryan are looking into making it so we might be doing one podcast for all of League. It would be on Twitch. You would just come in and normal stuff. But for YouTube, I would have markers in it, in the description, at 35 minutes, 0 to 35 minutes LPL, 35 to an hour LCK, etc. LEC, LCS, all that. I don't know the exact. Probably LCS a little earlier. I would say I would have to probably LCS, LEC. I don't know. I haven't figured out the pattern yet that we'll go with, but I was thinking maybe doing it that way. I believe we did a podcast like that before. It was a chaotic, kind of fun podcast. I actually had a lot of fun doing that way. But it was also because I've been looking into. I've liked Valorant a lot. I haven't played it in a while, to be honest. But I plan on playing it this week and then this weekend. But I've looked into that for the pro scene. I kind of want to get interested in that. It's a shooter. I've never been interested in CSGO personally, or Rainbow Six Siege or anything like that. But I had a lot of fun playing Valorant during the beta, and kind of want to follow the teams in that regard. So I was thinking about maybe doing a Valorant podcast, and I was like, oh shit, if I do a Valorant, I've talked about this before multiple times. I've always wanted to do a Smash Bros podcast or something related to Smash Bros, as I've always been a very big fan of that scene, as I've missed quite a few podcasts going to tournaments. Probably won't go to tournaments anymore too often until COVID gets fixed, because Smash players have very poor hygiene. Look at my beard, it's a piece of shit, but I shower every day, and that's the important thing. And shower, brush my teeth, very basic. Put deodorant on, miracle. That's a lot of players in the Smash community don't understand. But I've always wanted to do that. So I'm thinking, and then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, I've always wanted to do that, and I've also kind of wanted to casually stream. I had a friend that just got a new computer that actually wants to stream. Well, I'm like, oh, I want to kind of casually stream RuneScape and stuff like that, and RuneScape or just even League games. I'm in Plat 3 now. I've made it. I'm almost Plat 2. I'm really trying to push for Diamond this year. I feel like it sounds stupid and super artificial. I fully understand, but I always feel like you're more legitimate when you talk if you're Diamond Plus. Just in my head, I know Diamond people mean that it's crap, but in my head, I want to be like, oh, I'm a Diamond player. I know what I'm talking about. If I say I'm a Plat player, people are gonna be like, So I've always been trying to get to Diamond, because I really want, in my head, it gives me. I know that I know my stuff personally. The only reason I'm Plat is because I know my stuff. I'm terrible mechanically. Yeah, I've talked about this all the time. Leona, Nautilus, Cho'Gath, Garen, Maokai, Malphite. Those are my champion. That's my champion pool. Swain. I don't skill shots. Don't know what they are. They don't exist. Nautilus hook is a skill shot, right? I don't play mechanically challenging champions. I play very simple champions because I suck when it comes to fast reflexes and mechanics. I'm all about knowing how to play the map and when to play here and when to play there, do stuff like that, and that's how I win my games. Anyway, that being said, I always feel like Diamond just gives you a little bit extra credibility. Might only be in my head, but I just always feel like it gives you at least a little bit extra credibility. So yeah, that's all pretty much, I think. So I'm going to be looking into Valorant. Hell, even a TFT. If TFT gets a pro scene, they have all the pro, Haru and Was Scar ever signed by someone? I don't think Scar was ever signed by someone. But Haru and Becca and stuff, they've been signed. But there hasn't really been a pro scene, I would say, for TFT outside of like, just like fun. It's almost like TFT tournaments are like for fun tournaments, I would look into doing something like that. And the Riot fighting game coming out eventually. It's going to be a lot of Riot esports probably. And then like maybe Smash Bros on the side. Unless Smash Bros dies from COVID thing, which is a rumor, which is kind of scary. But yeah, that's it. It's more like branching out a little bit more. So it's not only League of Legends podcast stuff, but everything. So unfortunately that means I probably can't do 5 League of Legends podcasts a day unless I'm doing multiple podcasts a day, which, I mean, right now, sure, I could probably do that. I'm not working at the moment, but that's not going to last very long. I'm probably going back in about a month or a few weeks, three weeks or so. But, yeah, I think that it'll be interesting. It's Valorant's the one that piqued the interest the most. I've always said I wanted to do Smash Bros. Podcast, but I never did. But like Valorant's definitely piqued it the most. Like I think Valorant's going to be very legit in the esports scene. Like Ryan said, it's a hybrid between CS:GO and Overwatch, which is incredible. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Valorant, especially if it gets in the Brazil markets and the Korean market and China markets, like it's going to blow up. Like, it will be the most popular shooter, possibly the most popular esport in general. Because, let's be honest, League of Legends pretty complicated for the average viewer. Very complicated game, kind of confusing to watch. Shooters, pretty straightforward. You shoot the bad guy. There's abilities and stuff, which is like Overwatch overcomplicates it a little bit for the average viewer. But like, Valorant's like a simplified version, but a little more interesting in my personal opinion than CS:GO. I don't have as much interest in CS:GO as that, but a lot of people do, and that's why CS:GO is that popular. But I think this is like adds a little more flair, a little more spice. There's already the backing of Riot, the big company. Like it's not going to bomb out. So yeah. We'll see where it goes. Hell, maybe even like I said, the League of Legends fighting game, we'll do a podcast for that as well. We'll see where it goes from that point. But that will be all for today, I guess. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Brock, for showing up for a little bit. You're starstruck by my beard. Yeah, global league reviews. I'm actually pretty excited about it. Yeah, we'll be doing. And we'll actually be talking LPL. We'll probably be talking basically LPL will be week 2. What happened in week 1, week 2. LCS and LEC, I think, are the only 2 regions starting. I'll have to check. We'll do the preseason for both of those and predictions for week 1. And I believe LCK starts after that, so they won't be on that next podcast, but they'll be on the next one. And then I'm even going to bring the wild card back just for a little brief moment. We're not going to do predictions. We're not going to do power rankings in the wild card, but it's like Ryan said, it's going to be a global league review in one video. This is what happened in professional League of Legends this week, and this is what's going to happen next week, kind of thing. Yeah, this is it's messy. It's a really chaotic. Ryan said. Also, at least you can grow a beard. Yeah, this beard is like a mess. I haven't shaved outside of like my cheeks and my neck for like 70 plus days now because I've been home all day. I'm like, you know what? Let's just grow the beard all the way out, and it's kind of obnoxious. I try to comb it every day, but it just gets my hair. I'm gonna do this on podcast. This is so late on the podcast. No one will see it. Don't worry. My hair, not great anymore. It's pretty bad. Hair used to be really like thick and curly, and that's kind of what my beard is doing. It just instead of growing down, it grows out in curls. Dude, I fucking hate the Hex Check GLP. That item annoys the shit out of me, but I actually love the global. But we also review Global League Preview. We'll work on the name, but that's a very, very good step in. Like, I like it. I feel like we can build off of that. But yeah, I like the idea almost that someone comes to watch a video every Sunday. What happened all around the world in League? Like, I feel like podcasts are done on for the most part, NA and EU. But like, we do them too. Like, obviously, and I really enjoy doing them. But just to get a big review of every single thing in one video, so you can kept up on NA. Like, you didn't get to watch NA this week. That's okay. Here you go. You didn't get to watch the LPL like a lot of people. This is only 6 games for the LPL. Every week after this is 2 best of 3s every day. There's not a single day that's a break for the LPL. There's 14 games a week all the way till week 10. They do not stop. And yeah. So LPL, if you missed it, here we go. Here's the LPL section. You missed the LCK, there you go. Like, I think that'd be cool. And if you want to follow the wild cards, like at the very end of the podcast, I'll do a brief. Here's what's happening in Brazil. Here's what happened in Turkey, etc., etc. Yep. My beard does. My beard absolutely feels like it's just. It feels like my hair that used to be on my head. Like that's how it used to be. Like it like grew. My hair just grew out. It didn't grow long. It grew out and then curled towards the end. And that's just how my genetics work, I guess. Anyway, that should be all for the podcast. Thank you guys for coming. Ryan will work on the name. I think that's actually a pretty good idea. That GLP. I'm kind of liking that. But yeah, we'll see you guys on Sunday for the premiere of whatever it will be called. And it will probably bring back the spreadsheet because I don't think, now that I think about it, probably will be hard to do this little thing on every region at the same time. I don't have enough room on the screen. But so the spreadsheet might come back as well if you're a big fan of that. Good night.